So yesterday I was discussing the different layers. So like troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and other things. So where you could able to see different layers. So from the Earth surface, if you take the height from the Earth surface and also the temperature variation in the different layers. So we have the troposphere, we have the stratosphere, we have the mesosphere, and also the thermospheres. These are the different layers we have. So the vertical layers of atmosphere based on the temperature, okay, where the atmosphere is divided into different layers, which we call it as the spheres. So where we call first one is the troposphere, where the trop means mixing or turbulence and sphere means the region. So where we discussed, and it runs about 16 kilometers from the mean sea level, and of course 14 kilometers from the mean sea level, but it varies with the equator and the other area like poles that I discussed in the last class. So majority of the phenomena like the formation of the clouds, thunderstorms, cyclones, etc. will able to form in this particular zone. So as a result, we call this as the seat of weather phenomena. So even the wind, everything. So at the top of the troposphere, there is a shallow layer separating the stratosphere, which you call it as stratopause. We can see here the stratopause. We can see here. This is the troposphere, whereas this is the stratosphere. So the lower stratosphere and the upper stratosphere we can see. After that, we have the mesosphere and the thermosphere. So the height you can be able to see here, height in kilometer. So and also the temperature variation. So indicating that the tropopause layer is the thin and the height changes according to the latitude, and it is a transition zone distinctly characterized by the major movement of the air. So this stratosphere, it is the layer above the tropopause and around 20 kilometers above the from the mean sea level. I mean, it is 20 kilometers above the first layer, and extends up to the 50 to 55 kilometers from the mean sea level. And this is also called as the seat of photochemical reactions, because majority of the photochemical reactions are taking place in this zone. Especially the temperature remains practically constant around 20 kilometers, and it is characterized as isothermal because the air is thin, clear, and cold. Okay. So these things it is given here, you can go through that. So in the upper parts of the stratosphere, the temperature are almost as high as those near the Earth's surface, which is due to the fact that there will be ultraviolet radiation from the sun, which is absorbed by this zone. As a result, the temperatures are a little higher. So the air density is so much less. Okay. So like that, the solar radiation is being absorbed, and ozone produces a temperature where there is an increased temperature will be taking place. And here less convection takes place in the stratosphere because it is warm at the top and cold at the bottom. So there is also a persistent circulation of the wind, and the wind speed you can see. The upper boundary of the stratosphere is called the stratopause. The stratopause you can see here. Okay. Here the stratopause will comes. Okay, this is the stratopause. You can able to see.
Recording in progress.
So, well, so there is also a persistence of circulation pattern and high wind speeds present in this. So coming to the mesosphere, after troposphere, we have the stratosphere. Then third one is the mesosphere, which is also called as the ozonosphere. So here there is a maximum concentration of the ozone between 30 and 60 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. And this sea layer is known as the ozonosphere. And this is also very important layer because so here the property of this is the ozone. The property of ozone is that it absorbs ultraviolet rays. So indicating that this is very important one, because it is going to absorb the ultraviolet rays. Otherwise, if the ultraviolet rays are penetrating to the earth surface, means it is highly carcinogenic. The no life and the plants would have been existed if continuously UV rays are allowed to the surface, indicating that ozone is there to protect the us from the UV rays. So the temperature of ozosphere is high due to selective absorption of the UV radiation by the ozone. So because of the preponderance of the chemical the process, this sphere is also called as the chemosphere, because of the preponderance of chemical processes taking place in this zone. It is called as chemosphere. And according to some leading scientists, this is also called as the ionosphere. So the ionosphere is supposed to start at the height of 80 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The layer between 50 and 80 kilometers is called as the mesosphere. In this layer, temperature decreases with the height. The upper boundary of this layer is also called as mesopause. Okay, indicating that it is the coldest region in the atmosphere, with the temperature reaching the lowest value of nearly minus 95 degrees centigrade at the mesopause. Okay, so these things you can also study in different books also. So it is collected from different literature. After this, the mesosphere, we have the thermosphere, which is also called as the ionosphere. Thermosphere is also called as the ionosphere. So the thermosphere layer lies beyond the ozonosphere, okay, at a height of about 80 kilometers, and afterwards, so where it extends up to 400 kilometers. So the atmosphere in the ionosphere is partly ionized. Enriched ion zones exist in the form of the distinct ionized layers. So like this, different the zones or the layers we have, and each zone there is a particular phenomena is going on. Okay, above the mesosphere, the temperature increases again and is in the order of 1000 degrees centigrade, like that. So these are the ionosphere reflects the radio waves because of one or multiple reflections of the shortwave radio beams from the ionized shells. So long distance radio communication is possible due to this layer. So this is called as ionosphere also. And the next layer is called as the exosphere. The outermost layer of the Earth atmosphere is named as the exosphere, and this lies between 400 to 1000 kilometers. At such a greater height, the density of atoms in the atmosphere is extremely low because of the so much height. Here, the hydrogen and helium gases predominate in this outermost region, and at an altitude of about 500 to 600 kilometers, the density of the atmosphere becomes low, and collisions takes place, so where the particle size will be coming to low. Then what is the lapse rate? So many a time you use some of the terminologies, so it may be asked for some definitions or some differences like that. The lapse rate is nothing but the decrease in air temperature with height. A decrease in air temperature with height is known as the normal or environmental lapse rate, and it is around 6.5 degrees centigrade per kilometer. So then the other terminologies like adiabatic lapse rate, adiabatic lapse rate. So here the rate change of temperature is an ascending or descending air mass through a adiabatic process is called as adiabatic lapse rate. So these are the new terminologies. You have to understand the meanings. The rate of change of temperature either increasing or decreasing order through the air mass, which you call it as adiabatic lapse rate. Okay. The thermodynamic transformation which occurs without exchange of heat between system and its environment is known as adiabatic process. So in adiabatic process, so cooling accompanies expansion and adiabatic warming accompanies the compression. So both things will going to happen. So the term is being explained. Then temperature inversion. So these are the terminologies. As I told, sometime it may be asked for the definitions or differentiations like that. Temperature inversion, an increase in air temperature with height, often called as simply an inversion. An increased air temperature with height, often called as simply an inversion. So then the other term, radiosonde. Radiosonde, it is an instrument that measures the vertical profile of air temperature in the atmosphere. It is the instrument which measures vertical profile of air temperature in the atmosphere, which is called a radiosonde. So like this, these terminologies also you have to remember. Okay. Then the much important is ozone. Many a time we discuss about the ozone holes formation, or sometimes the UV rays are passing to the atmosphere because of the release of chlorofluorocarbon, CFCs we call, or because of much of the pollution where carbon monoxide and dioxide are leaving to atmosphere. So because of that, some scientists sometime also they predicted the ozone should not be damaged. Okay, so like that. So ozone is a molecule made of 3 atoms. We call it a O3. All of you are knowing is O3. Ozone is a molecule made of 3 atoms of oxygen instead of 2 molecules. So here the region of the stratosphere with the highest concentration of ozone molecules, which is absorbing high energy solar UV rays, okay, which protects the organisms on the earth. It is also called as the ozonosphere. Okay, so indicating that here the UV rays, so from the sun is partially absorbed in this layer. As a result, the amount of UV reaching to Earth's surface is greatly reduced because the ozone is being absorbing these rays. So those rays will be may not be reaching the Earth's surface. Okay. So the human exposure to UV rays increases the risk of skin cancer because they are carcinogenic. Those rays are highly carcinogenic. As a result, it may be causing skin cancer, cataracts, and a suppressed immune system. So like that, different problems will be encountered even for human beings, animals, and also the plants. The UV rays exposure can also damage terrestrial plant life because single cell organisms and also aquatic ecosystem are also affected due to the UV rays. So yeah, what is ozone hole? So many a time we discuss about some scientists are predicting there is a formation of ozone holes where UV rays are passing through that and reaching the Earth surface where the life, including the human beings, animals, the flora, fauna, and also the plants will be affected because of the bad effect of the UV rays. So the ozone hole is a reduction in the concentration of ozone molecule above the Earth in the stratosphere. So in the stratosphere, so there may be a reduction of the ozone concentration due to the pollution effects. So the average concentration of the ozone in the atmosphere is 300 Dubson units. The unit is 300 Dubson units. Ozone is measured in the units like Dubson units. So the average concentration of the ozone in the atmosphere is about 300 Dubson. So if the concentration reduces, okay, whenever the concentration drop below 220 Dubson, so they start the holing because the CFCs and other gases, they act as chelating agents and sometimes they create the CFCs and other pollutants. What they do is they rub the ozone layers and there may be formation of the holes. Okay. In 1984, the British Antarctic Survey scientists like Joseph Furman Brian Gardner and Jonathan Shanklin discovered a recurring springtime Antarctic ozone hole. So where they found some ozone holes. Why this ozone hole is formed at Antarctic or other surface? What are the factors which are responsible for that? For that, they are given three reasons. One is the polar vortex, the polar stratospheric clouds, and the effect of active chlorine. So these three scientists, they given the reasons. What are the reasons for formation of this ozone hole at the Antarctic region? And they gave the three factors like the polar vortex, polar stratospheric clouds, and the effect of active the chlorine. So these are the three important factors they have given. So which triggers the formation of ozone hole over the Antarctica like that. So then how the ozone hole occurs? What is the reasons and how exactly it ozone holes forms? Because many a times the scientists are also worried. So nowadays the ozone layer is reduced because of the rubbing action of the chlorofluorocarbons and also the pollutants. So the ozone layer has to be protected. We have to go for much of the vegetation. So like that, many things are being discussed. How the ozone hole occurs. So what above three factors they discussed, here they little elaborated. The polar vortex, where the cold circulating wind, formation of stratospheric clouds, where 6 months of darkness over Antarctica. So if you go to Antarctica, there is a 6 months of darkness and another 6 months of the light. So as a result, so this darkness, which is there for so many days during winter, and temperature drop below minus 78 degree centigrade. So as a result, this leads the formation of thin clouds. This leads to the formation of further thin clouds of ice and nitric acid and sulfuric acid mixtures, which is forming. So they were a reason for the reduction in the ozone. Then the chemical reactions on the surface of ice crystals in the clouds release the active forms of the chlorine from CFCs. The active forms of chlorine from the CFCs means chlorofluorocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons, that is also reason. And also this active chlorine and also bromine and other ozone depleting substances destroys the ozone for 1% per day during spring, which is causing the formation of the ozone hole. So because of this effect, the ozone holes are being formed at the Antarctica, as quoted by these scientists. So over the course of 2 to 3 months, approximately 50% of the total amount of the ozone in the atmosphere disappears, especially in the Antarctic area. So at some levels, the losses approach up to extent of 90%, and this has come to be called as Antarctic ozone hole. This has come to be called as Antarctic the ozone hole, as per the above three scientists. So whereas in spring season, the temperature begins to rise and the ice evaporates and the ozone layer starts recover further. So only in the winter it is creating much problem, but in the spring where the temperature increases, the ozone the layer starts to recover back. So one chlorine atom is capable of fragmenting of 1000 to 10,000 of up to 1 million of ozone molecules. One chlorine atom is capable of fragmentation of 1000 to 10,000 up to 1 million of ozone molecules, indicating that such a bad effects are also forming. Then solid particles in the atmosphere. So there are two types of solid particles like organic and inorganic particles. So where these organic particles in the air is comparatively small in size, they are spores of plants and bacteria. In the air, over cities, their number is more as compared to the open forest or other area. Over the oceans, their number is 1 per cubic meter, whereas over the crowded cities, it is up to 3000 per cubic meter. So like that, the particles will be there. Apart from that, we have the inorganic particles like they're more in size also. So these are mostly dust particles. So these are mostly dust particles near the city. The presence of these particles in the atmosphere due to the reasons like they are raised to the atmosphere from the earth's surface during the strong winds. When there is a strong winds, like a whirling winds and strong winds, the dust particle will come to the atmosphere. They are thrown up into the atmosphere by volcanoes also. So wherever the areas which are prone to the volcanic condition, where the dust particles are thrown upside towards so many kilometers because of the pressure buildup of the volcanoes and so much temperature, and they are passed into atmosphere as smoke by the combustion of the fuel. So where we are much going for combustion of the fuels due to the factories and other domestic activities, where so much the smoke is also combusted, and as a fuel it is released into the atmosphere. Then meteors, while passing into the atmosphere, get disintegrated, adding a large quantities of dust particles in the upper atmosphere, indicating that so the organic particles may be small, but they are less in size. But the dangerous of inorganic particles is much more than the organic particles. So the inorganic particles are creating much havoc. So these dust particles are mostly concentrated in the lower layer of the atmosphere, and the amount of dust particles is more in subtropical and mid latitudes than in the equatorial regions. And these dirty particles are hygroscopic in nature, where they absorb the moisture and also the ammonia. So they are highly hygroscopic particles, which include ammonia and salt. Others are non-hygroscopic particles, which also include sand and mica. So these particles will be there. So their number is very small over oceans and mountains, but very large over big cities and other cities. You can see the different particle size. So these particles play an important role in various meteorological phenomena. So they cause a smog, we call haze or smog in dryland and warm air weather conditions. And they form condensation nuclei on which water vapor condenses to form the fog and cloud. And so even the red color of the sky at the time of sunrise and sunset is also due to these particles, which intercept the solar radiation and reflect the radiation. So because of these things, because of this phenomena, the ozone holing is also taking place. Then come to the water vapor. The amount of water vapor is very small in amount. Okay, and it never exceeds 4% by volume, and in tropical regions where rarely exceeds 1%. Okay, it is mainly confined to the lower layers of the atmosphere, and about 90% of the moisture lies below 6 kilometer in the atmosphere. So, and less than 1% is above the 10 kilometer of the Earth's surface. So, though its amount is very small, it plays an important role. How it is playing important role? Because we have the plant and animal life in the on the surface of the Earth, where it absorbs the water vapor. So, all the phenomena like dew, fog, clouds, rain, hailstone, snow, frost, so which are due to the presence of the water vapor. So this water vapor on condensation, they release latent heat, which is the driving force behind the all storms. Okay, this heat is behind the all storms. So the water holding capacity of the air is also directly proportional to the air temperature, as you already know. So the amount of oxygen and also the carbon dioxide is a relatively small composition in the atmosphere, but they are most important constituents which give the life to the human beings, animals, and also the plants. If oxygen is exhaust when during dead organic matter undergoing the decomposition process, while CO2 is produced. So simultaneously, green plants assimilate CO2, synthesize sugars, and release the oxygen. So as this process we are knowing, as a result, the CO2 and oxygen in the atmosphere maintain almost in a distinct level. So indicating that, so these are the phenomena you need to understand the effectively. So how the inorganic particles are going to affect, what is their role. Okay, so as I said, so these inorganic particles are more than the organic particles always, because of the recent the pollution effects, the pollution effects which we are creating. Okay, so always that's why. And also if you take the developed and also the developing countries, so where the developed countries are there, they are much polluting the atmosphere when compared to the developing countries. The countries like the America, the China, the Europe. So these are the developed countries where they have more of the industries, where so much the gases are being released. Okay, so those things are creating the problem. So Earth surface where we have to maintain the equilibrium we call, but many a time we are going beyond the equilibrium. Though the science and technology is improved, but the pollution effects are also increased. So these inorganic particles, okay, so which are raised due to the strong winds, as I already told. So when the wind movement is so much, they take the particles which are larger in size. And volcano, due to volcano also so much the burnt ash and other things are going to the atmosphere, observe the moisture. So where we have the so many other effects, and the smoke, combustion fuel. So all these are also creating the havoc in the atmosphere. So they are in different the size. So the number is very small over oceans, but wherever the cities and other things, these inorganic particle size is more, and lot of things are going to the atmosphere. So indicating that, so here much of the things you have to understand this in each layer, what are the things are going on. So when you see this so many a time this question will be asked. So you can see here the troposphere, so which is about 14 kilometer from the earth surface. It is up to the height of around 14 kilometer. That is the troposphere. So between troposphere and the stratosphere, so we have the tropopause. This is a thin layer which is called as the tropopause. So accordingly, up to the height of about 50 kilometer, up to 50 kilometer. Okay, so we have the stratosphere. We have the stratosphere. This is the upper stratosphere. This is the lower stratosphere, and the layer which separates the mesosphere and the stratosphere, we call it as stratopause. We call it as stratopause. So accordingly, if we go still further, so up to 80 kilometer. Okay, so it is, we call it as it is called as the thermosphere. Okay, after stratosphere it is mesosphere. Okay, so up to 80 kilometers it's called mesosphere. I'm sorry, up to 80 kilometers it is called as mesosphere, and the layer which separates the mesosphere and the troposphere, which is called as the mesopause. The layer which separates the mesosphere and the thermosphere, we call it as the mesopause. So above 80 kilometer, it is, we call it as thermosphere. We call it as thermosphere. So many a time this question will be asked in the examination. So with graphic, with the figure we have to write the things, and each and every zone we have to understand the things what are all going on. So what are all going on in each and every the thing that we need to understand. Okay. So as I told, so in the troposphere, main what are the things which are being happening? I told up to 14 kilometers it is the troposphere, and it varies with the equator and the polar region because of the Earth shape. So the what are the changes takes place as I told the season effect under the normal condition. Uh, so here various types of cloud formation. So in the troposphere, so important thing you have to note is various types of the cloud formation. So here you'll study what are cumulonimbus cloud. Okay, what are strata, what are nimbus clouds, what are cumulonimbus clouds. That will you study in the further classes. How the thunderstorms forms, what are the reasons, how exactly the air movement starts, and the temperature increases on the Earth's surface. So when the bright sun shine, so Earth absorbs the radiation, and once it saturates, it re-radiates. Once it starts re-radiating, so the air which is present in the Earth's surface will be heated up. It will uh, so the pressure comes down, so it moves top. Okay, from a uh, higher to lower. This one here circulation starts like that. That phenomena I will study. So difference in the pressure of the this one the movement starts. So once the air movement starts, so that leads to the uh, cloud movement, thunderstorms, and cyclones. We are knowing sometime how the cyclones are forms. Okay, and how fast they move from the ocean surface to the land surface. What are the havoc they are creating? Okay, so these things are occurring in the troposphere, and the water vapor, aerosols, all these things starts in the troposphere. That is why the troposphere is called as the seat of weather phenomena. It is called as the seat of the weather phenomena because most of the weather variation takes place in this particular zone. So then the wind velocities increases with height and attain maximum at the top of this layer. The wind velocity or speed we call. So this is so much because that's why we are feeling so much the weather variation because we are nearer to from Earth surface. It is 14 kilometers is the troposphere we call. Okay, we are very close to this. All these changes we are feeling. Okay, so the wind speed or the so much high wind velocity and all. And also here there is a decrease of temperature with increasing elevation. As we go high and high, say for example, if we go to Nandi Hills, so we feel so pleasant and cool because we are as we go up and up, the temperature comes down. So as we are knowing, that's why we call it as hill stations. Especially in the summer areas, people go to the hill stations. So other examples like Ooty, Kodaikanal, so where the temperature will be less, we feel pleasant. So like that. So most of the radiation received from the sun is absorbed by the Earth's surface. So the troposphere is heated from the below, indicating that when the insolation or radiation reaches the Earth starts heating up, then it starts re-radiating. So where we feel warm. So indicating that in this layer, about 75% of the total gases, 75% of the total gases and most of the moisture and dust particles are present. 75% of the total gases. But here we have much important gases are the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Of course, the nitrogen, methane, everything, all gases. So we could able to see in this, and that is useful for the humankinds and the plants, etc. So at the top of the tropopause, there is a shallow layer separating it from the stratosphere, which is called as tropopause. So here you can see the tropopause, troposphere and the stratosphere is being separated by the tropopause. That you have to remember. Okay. Similarly, the stratosphere and mesosphere is separated by stratopause. So like that, the mesosphere and the thermosphere is separated by the mesopause. So these are the imaginary thin layers, as per the studies. So this tropopause layer is thin and its height changes according to the latitude, and it is a transition zone distinctly characterized by no major air movement. Okay. So accordingly, we also discussed about the second layer, that is stratosphere. So this is also much important because so the ozone is going to come into picture. So this layer exists above the tropopause around 20 kilometer onwards and extends up to 50 to 55 kilometer. So this is called as a seat of photochemical reactions. Many of the photochemical reactions are being taken place. That is why this is also important. The temperature remains practically constant around 20 kilometer and characterized as isothermal because air is thin, clear, cold and dry near the tropopause. The temperature of this layer increases with height and also depends upon the stratosphere because of the troposphere is higher at equator than the poles. So in the upper stratosphere, the temperature are almost as high as those near the Earth's surface, which is due to the fact that UV radiation from the sun is absorbed. That is the important. So ultraviolet radiation from the sun is absorbed by the ozone in this region. As a result, this region is also very important because the ozone layer is protecting us from the UV rays. The air density is so much less that even limited absorption of solar radiation by the atmospheric constituents, notably ozone, produces the increased temperature. Also, so here less convection takes place in the stratosphere because it is warm at the top and cold at the bottom. So as a result, the less convection takes place. There is also persistence of circulation pattern and high wind speeds. So there is also persistence of circulation patterns and high wind speeds because it is just above the troposphere. So the upper boundary of the stratosphere is called as hello. Is it audible?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Because of the net problem, there is some problem happened. Okay, na?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, so I was discussing this stratosphere. So where so here the ozone is being protected. Okay, so the ozone protects the ultraviolet rays. So wind speed is also good. So the upper boundary of the stratosphere is called as the stratopause, as already told. Then the third one is mesosphere. It is also called as ozonosphere. So here maximum concentration of ozone between 30 and 60 kilometers above the surface of the earth, and this is also known as the ozonosphere. So the property of ozone is that the UV rays, the absorption. Okay. Uh, so indicating that the temperature of ozonosphere is high due to selective absorption of the UV radiation by zone. Because of the preponderance of chemical process, this sphere is called as the chemosphere. So indicating that the second and third layer, so both important with respect to the UV radiation. So here some chemical reactions are also taking place. That is why it is called as a chemosphere. So according to some leading scientists, the ionosphere supposed to start at a height of 80 kilometers above Earth's surface. So the layer between 50 and 80 is called the mesosphere. So these are the imaginary layers given by the scientists. So mesosphere is the coldest region in the atmosphere with the temperature reaching the lowest value nearly minus 95 degrees centigrade. So because as we go high, the temperature drops below. Then thermosphere, which is called as the ionosphere. So this layer lies beyond the ozonosphere. Above the ozonosphere, this layer is there height of 80 kilometers and above, and it may reach up to 400 kilometers. Okay, so where the atoms are the ionized and enriched ion zones exist in the form of distinct ionized layers, and this layer is called as the ionosphere. So above the mesosphere, the temperature increases again and again, and it reaches maybe 1000 degree also. Okay. So as a result, the ionosphere reflects the radio waves because of one or multiple reflections of the shortwave radio beams from the ionized cells. So long distance radio communication is possible due to this layer. So after this, we have the exosphere, so which is the outermost layer of the Earth atmosphere, and named as the exosphere, and this lies between 400 to 1000 kilometers. So at a greater height, the density of atoms in the atmosphere is extremely low, where the hydrogen and helium gases predominate in this outermost region. At an altitude of about 500 to 600 kilometers, the density of the atmosphere becomes so low that collisions between the particles takes place. So accordingly, I discussed what is the lapse rate, the temperature inversion. So I also told about the ozone. So all of you study still further about the ozone. What is ozone? How the ozone holes are being formed? What are the reasons for that? Why in Antarctica it is more than other regions? Okay. So how the greenhouse gas effect? Okay. All these things many times these are the things will be asked. The different types of the particles, how the particles are being affected or damaged, these things, including the water vapor and other things. So this is about the today's class. So as I wanted to reveal, uh, and also in the atmosphere, what are the predominant gases? We should be able to have the idea. So here, apart from the class notes, some of the information also we can read through the books. So we have many books also. If possible, you can also go through the books, agrometeorology book by Vajpayee. So that is a good book. You can also the study, and also through the net information is also available. So I think I stop here. If at all any queries or questions from your side, I welcome the questions or any queries, or whether it is understandable by you people, or it is a little slow or fast, or what is the pattern you want. So like that, we should able to give the feedback. Accordingly, we can regulate. Otherwise, we keep on giving the information and moving. So, but ultimately, our intention is to understand you people. You should able to understand, and the things should be impressed. So, any clarifications? Hello,
Sir, can you explain ionosphere, sir? Means
pardon?
ionosphere.
Ionosphere. Okay. So here the thermosphere is also called as the ionosphere, is not? So this this layer lies between and beyond the ozonosphere or mesosphere at a height of about 80 kilometer and extend up to 400 kilometers. So here this is partially ionized. This sphere is partially ionized and enriched ionic zones exist in the form of distinct ionic or ionized layers. So this layer is called as the ionosphere. So above the mesosphere, the temperature increases again and is in the order of 1000 centigrade or so. So where the ionosphere reflects the radio waves, this ionosphere going to reflect the radio waves because of one or multiple reflections of the shortwave radio beams from the ionized shells. So long distance radio communications is possible in this particular layer. So this is the information which is collected for you. The further, if you want, the additional information can be given. So some more information. So, or you can also collect the information from the books or also net. Of course, now it is the information world. You can also collect the information. Okay. Well, so only how much is required, that much we are giving here, because if you are going to give too much means sometimes it may not be required. So as I told earlier, the physics people used to teach this particular course, but now it has come to the agronomy. So next there is a separate agrometeorology department is coming. So where this particular course will go to them, but where agronomists only they are heading these things. Okay, so these are little physics related things. Okay, related to the physics. So we attended some of the training programs, and based on that, we are teaching these courses. Okay, so then. So around 90 people are participating, including me, 90 are participated. So don't miss the classes, because while explaining, so what happens sometime, the questions will be like whatever we explain, so like that it will be there. So give reasoning. Sometime we may ask to give reasons. Sometimes those reasons may not be in the books. Okay. So you may give relevant examples. So we ask accordingly, give reasons with examples like that. So that try to attentive in the class also. We attend the classes and also attentive in the class, so that it will be easy for you to learn the subjects. Okay. If it is offline means it would be better. So we would have discussed pin to pin, because it is the offline. Sometimes the power may goes off. Here from morning, so many times power cut, and immediately the internet also affected. So some of the problems are occurring. So we have to live with these things. But even within the limitations, we have to understand the things and move in the right direction. So well, so Anything else? Hello? Siddhesh. ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ.
ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಯಾರೋ ಡೌಟ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್.
Please.
Why does the temperature increase with height in stratosphere?
Stratosphere.
Yes, sir.
Where stratosphere? No, it is in the thermosphere. No, in the thermosphere.
Stratosphere.
Pardon.
So stratosphere. The
Explain the-
temperature of the layer increases with height.
Stratosphere. No.
Yes, sir.
So the temperature of this layer increases with height. Also depends upon the stratosphere, because higher at the no, that is only in the only at equator and polar region, not in the other this one.
Okay.
At equator and poles, it is not generalized. So usually the temperature variation will be there in normal area and the poles and the equator, you know. So the at equator and polar regions, there will be variation when compared to the other areas, you know. So because of the elliptical shape of the earth. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, like that. So any clarification? So the notes will be sent after 4 or 5 classes. Okay. So after every 4 or 5 classes, so I will send the notes to your CR. In turn, he will able to send to you people. Okay. So based on that only, you can able to read and you can frame the questions so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. I think still any doubts or clarifications? So otherwise, I will stop here. Siddhesh.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
You have to send the attendance and you have to take the attendance and send it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
For each class. I
Okay.
think I will stop here now. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.